Today is day 19 of our December marathon, and today we are doing a top 50 pro wrestlers. This is where we're ranking all pro wrestlers from all companies all over the world, and we're going to put them in our top 50, and this is going to be a long one, so we're going to jump straight into this one.
Yeah, we're going to kick things off with number 50. It's going to be the queen of the indies, and that being Dani Luna, somebody who has been taking over quite a while now on the indies. She's been having a lot of great matches. She did a lot of work in DPW towards the start of the year, having a great match with High End in the dog collar match, and then also she's doing great work in the tag team division at the start as well, and then now in TNA kind of starting to get picking things up in the singles division, and yeah, she's having a great year, and I think she's very deserving of this spot.
Yeah, and another person who had a great year is number 49 with MJF. He had that great tables and tax match with Mark Briscoe, and obviously he's MJF. He has great promos throughout the year. He's a great storyteller, and he just has a lot of great moments. Of course, all the Hurt Syndicate stuff with that was amazing moments. Then the split leading after that of him winning the contract was very good as well.
Yeah, and then at 48, we're going to kick things off with Sami Zayn. He started the year with Kevin Owens, and it kind of was pretty good at the start, but then he's had the stuff with Karrion Kross, kind of took up his middle of the year, wasn't the best, and then at the end of the year has picked up a lot more with the Open Challenge with the United States Champion. So yeah, definitely a good year for Sami, but I hope in 2026 that he'll be higher on this list.
Yeah, and then we got 47 with Penta. He obviously debuted on Raw debut on Netflix this year. So really cool stuff from him. He had an amazing year, put out a ton of matches, had a lot of PLEs, had a WrestleMania Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental match. And then, yeah, he just had a lot of amazing stuff happen throughout this entire year.
Yeah, and at 46, it's going to be Megan Bayne, somebody who has been killing it for a while now on the indies, and then now in AEW has continued to have her success. She's been working a hell of a lot as of late. She did the women's tag team inaugural tournament as well as the Stardom tag team tournament as well. So yeah, a very strong year for her, and again, somebody I expect to see higher.
And another person who had a strong tag team year is going to be Willow Nightingale. She started the year off in the singles division, didn't really get too many places successfully at the very least, but she did have some banger matches. But what she did do is go into the AEW inaugural tag team tournament and end up winning them with Harley Cameron. So that alone puts her a little bit higher on the list, but as well as just her being Willow Nightingale, the personality she brings, the blood and guts match that she had that we were there for in person. So she's amazing.
Yeah, and then 43 is going to be Chelsea Green, and she has had a great year. In the middle of the year, it kind of slowed down a little bit more. The United States Champion not having too many matches, it was more segments, but somebody who has had tremendous character work, shining grace of the SmackDown shows for this year. And yeah, I hope again she gets more opportunities in 2026, potentially going for that world champion.
And then we got Brody King at 43. Someone who you probably look at him this year as more of a tag team wrestler with all of his stuff with Bandito. A lot of amazing matches there. But he also had a pretty successful singles career outside of the Brodito tag team stuff at the beginning of the year. He also had a great run in the Continental Classic at the end of last year, kind of leading into this one. But yeah, good stuff from Brody King.
For 42, we're going with Gunther. He has had an interesting year for a lot of people. He obviously just retired John Cena, but also has the accomplishment of retiring Goldberg as well. And then obviously the stuff with Jey Uso wasn't the best, but yeah, it is what it is. Also had a great match with Punk as well. So yeah, Gunther had a very interesting year. Somebody who I'd say definitely took a step down from last year, but yeah, I think this upcoming year will be a lot better for him. And yeah, pretty good year.
And we got Trick Williams at number 41. He was an NXT champion this year, a TNA champion this year, maybe even a North American. I don't remember if he won that one, but he won a lot of titles this year. He was very successful. At the beginning of the year, I feel like people were maybe a little bit down on him because he was doing the Eddie Thorpe stuff to start the year. Then last year to end it really wasn't great. But towards the end of this year, towards the later part of his TNA title run, he kind of won people over, showed that he is good in ring, has a lot of personality, and he's more than just entrance.
And then for number 40, it's going to be probably one of the most arguable ones on this list, and it's going to be Kenny Omega, somebody who's had a great year. However, it hasn't been too consistent. Obviously, he's doing a lot of pay-per-views and stuff like that, but for weekly TV, we might see him in the little build-up to that show or like a few weeks before that, but besides that, he hasn't been around so much. But yeah, somebody who's had great matches throughout the entire year, basically, but the consistency is what's going to bring him down.
We're going back to the women's tag team division, except this time on the WWE side of things, and that's going to be Alexa Bliss at 39. She revived the tag team division with Charlotte Flair and kind of made the tag team division a part of the main event scene, which is very rare. I don't think we've ever seen the tag team division in the WWE for the women look like it is now. So very good stuff from Alexa Bliss at 39.
And then for 36, it is going to be, or for 38, it is going to be the biggest or the best loser, and that's going to be Jordan Grace, somebody who's continuing having great matches throughout the entire year, but unfortunately can never win any of the big matches. She's somebody who is continuing to improve, and somebody who I think is ready for that main roster call-up. So yeah, maybe we will see that next year, and I hope it is happening, because yeah, she deserves a lot better, but I can't say she's been treated poorly, because she has had a lot of big opportunities.
Yeah, and kind of keeping on with that same momentum as far as the losers go, we have Roxanne Perez at 37. She hasn't really won a lot of matches this year. She lost her world title to start the year. She tried to fight for it back a whole lot of times in NXT. Didn't really work out in her favor. Goes to the main roster. Goes to part of the Judgment Day. Loses a lot there. Does become a tag team champion with Raquel, but it lasted pretty short. They end up losing it. And yeah, she's lost a lot, but looked great doing it.
And then for 36, it is going to be the face of the men's division on TNA, and that's going to be Mike Santana. The story of him capturing that TNA world title was a great story, and I think one of the best stories we've seen from TNA in quite some time. Unfortunately, everything that continued after wasn't the best, and that does kind of suck, and that's kind of why he is this low. He definitely could have been a lot higher, I think. But yeah, he had a great year, had a lot of great matches, did some WWE work in NXT, and then obviously, like I said, dominated TNA for quite a while as well. So yeah, great year for Mike. Hope he has a better year. And hopefully we get that world title back.
Another person who really rose up this year is Lyra Valkyria. She started the year off as part of the Intercontinental Tournament, where she eventually did win the tournament and become the inaugural Intercontinental Women's Championship. And she went on a great run. I feel like she was kind of being quiet as far as her interests. People weren't really behind her, but once WrestleMania came around, Bayley put in some work in the tag team division with her a little bit. Then Becky Lynch came around and they did all that stuff. She really won the crowd over, real big on her interest. Now she gets the woos, and everything you would want for Lyra Valkyria is starting off really, really strong. And I think 2026 will be a year where maybe she can even win a world title.
Yeah, and then for 34, we are going with the queen, that being Charlotte Flair. Again, like you mentioned earlier with Alexa Bliss, she has revived the tag team division. And yeah, she's had a lot of great moments, obviously winning the Rumble. The match with Tiffany wasn't the best, obviously not awful as well, though. And yeah, she's been consistently, I think, better than Alexa Bliss. Obviously, not saying Alexa Bliss is bad by any means, but I think Charlotte Flair has been a bit better. I think most would agree with that. But yeah, great year for Charlotte. And maybe we see her back in the tag or the singles division after we get the split with her and Alexa. But who knows what 2026 has in store for her.
And at 33, we have Kevin Knight, currently in the C2, putting on a lot of banger matches. Unfortunately, had the injury with Darby Allin as part of one of his earlier matches in the tournament. That kind of put a little sour dampening on that match a little bit, because it was that good and you want to kind of celebrate that match, but when it ends in an injury, it's kind of, you know what I mean, hard to celebrate it that much. But Kevin Knight's coming off an amazing year. A tag team division as well with Speedball Mike Bailey as part of Speedball, and really good stuff from him throughout this year for sure.
For 32, we're going with Braun Breaker. He is somebody who has elevated himself to the main event scene now, obviously joining Seth Rollins' group, and that was something that definitely helped him out a lot. But when he turned, that's when he got things really started now, going after CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Champion. And yeah, he's had a great year, started the year with the Intercontinental Champion as well, with a great match at WrestleMania, one of the best matches on that show, obviously a very weak card, but it says a lot when that was actually a good one. So yeah, Braun Breaker is somebody who would definitely be on this list, probably higher next year, but yeah, good spot here for Braun Breaker.
And at 31, probably someone you think would be lower is going to be Blake Monroe, but it's mostly going to be because of her work as Mariah May in AEW. Obviously, her WWE run has kind of been hit or miss. It's either you love it or hate it, depending on who you are as a fan of hers, but her stuff in AEW is undeniably good. One of the best matches of the year, honestly, two of the best matches of the year, not even including the Hollywood ending as well. But yeah, a lot of good stuff from her. She had a steel cage match with Jordan Grace as part of NXT recently, so she's put on a lot of good stuff, and I do think she deserves to be on the list.
For number 30, it is going to be the current NXT World Champion, that is Oba Femi, somebody who has been on a dominant run, obviously, since he's basically got in NXT, but this year has continued that success, obviously has the loss to Ricky Saints, but ended up getting his chain back after getting it snatched. And yeah, he's somebody who just also had a Cody Rhodes match and pushed him to his limit. Who knows if he could have won that match, so there's obviously some big stakes up for Oba Femi in this upcoming year. And yeah, he's somebody who I hope when he makes that jump to the main roster, he'll have a great success. He obviously has a Drew feud lined up, as well as a Cody Rhodes rematch that I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see again.
At 29, we have Mark Briscoe. We have the brand new TNT champion customized title just from Mark Briscoe and all the hard work that he did put in this year. And his very long feud with Kyle Fletcher, had a great series with him. A great match with MJF as well. Blood and Guts was great. Everything Mark Briscoe does has kind of like a pretty high floor to it. And yeah, everyone loves Mark Briscoe.
For 28, we're going with the women's Money in the Bank winner, that being Naomi. She has somebody who has elevated herself a great bit. She went from a great tag team wrestler on the side with Bianca Belair, and then now has turned heel and changed her look entirely. Unfortunately, what obviously is going to drop her down a lot is because she has missed now probably about half the year now, obviously with the pregnancy. Obviously, not she obviously loves that she is pregnant, but unfortunately, it will drag her down. So yeah, great year for Naomi, and yes, hopefully when she does come back, she'll be at the top again.
And another person who is actually crushing it in the C2 right now is number 27, Speedball Mike Bailey. Obviously, we just talked about his tag team partner Kevin Knight recently, so everything I said about him, you could kind of replicate and say it about him. He is that good, maybe even that much better than Kevin Knight, just that tad bit. But a lot of good stuff from him, and I'm excited to see what his 2026 looks like.
For 26, it is going to bring us Sol Ruka, somebody who has taken the Saturday's main event by storm as well with her performance with Bailey. And yeah, she's had a great year. She was in pretty much all the big matches this year. She had a great match in the ladder match at Stand and Deliver. She had a good North American title run as well. And yeah, she's somebody who I think, again, somebody when she gets called up, she'll be a lot higher as well. So yeah, she's somebody who has a bright future and has had a great year. And I think she's somebody who, again, will be on the lookout for next year.
Keeping on with our NXT talent, we have Ethan Page, someone who's been pretty dominant as part of the NXT roster. Whether he wins or loses, he still has that dominant feel where he still feels like the main eventer, even if he's not main eventing anything. He put on a lot of great matches with Javon Evans, Obafemi, Ricky Saints. A lot of the AAA people has came over here, and then they came over there as well. A lot of good stuff from him, and I'm excited to see where it ends up because he's a double champion right now, and I feel like that main roster call-up will have him looking very much more successful with a United States title rather than an NXT title.
Yeah, and then for number 24, it is going to be the best in the world, CM Punk. Somebody who's had a very good year. However, with the lack of kind of different opponents this year has kind of brought that down a little bit. Obviously had a great match at WrestleMania, the triple threat with Seth and Roman Reigns. Also had a great match at SummerSlam with Gunther. But yeah, everything else has kind of been a little bit hit or miss. Did a lot of stuff with Seth Rollins and the Vision. So yeah, it kind of took up a portion of his career or this year. And yeah, hopefully 2024, if he does retain this World Heavyweight Champion, yeah, it will be a lot better.
Yeah, and we have Cody Rhodes at 23. Maybe a little bit arguable. You could put him a little higher, a little bit lower, whatever. But I felt like his year didn't really live up to the standards that I have set for Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is one of the best wrestlers in the world, one of the best storytellers in the world, and I feel like he didn't really kind of hit that mark for 2025. He had a lot of good moments, a lot of good stuff that did happen, but I feel like him being this part on the list is very appropriate for what he did this year.
For 22, it is going to be the current AEW Women's World Champion, Chris Statlander. She is somebody who has had a great, strong fourth quarter of the year. However, the start of the year wasn't the best. She kind of started off pretty slow. Did a lot of stuff with Willow, kind of teasing a kind of feud with them, kind of reigniting that. But yeah, everything else wasn't really too much to note. But this last few months has been amazing. Winning the world title, having the rematch with Toni Storm, and then we have that being a great match. And then as well as the Mercedes Moné match at Full Gear was also great. So yeah, great year to finish that out, but I think she'll continue that momentum into 2026.
Hopefully so, because at 21 we have the brand new returning star in Swerve Strickland. He just made his big return recently. He's going into Worlds End as part of that triple threat match that looks like it's going to be pretty good. The rematch from last year with Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page. There's a lot of good storytelling as part of that match, so hopefully that match lives up to the standard of the last one that they put on, or even better.
For number 20 is going to be the young OG, Javon Evans. He is somebody who has, again, improved a tremendous amount. His match quality has continued to be one of the best in NXT and one of the best in WWE, period, I would say, as well as his promo game has improved a ton as well. Somebody who is going to be a potential NXT World Champion soon. So, yeah, hopefully Javon Evans gets that World Champion before he gets called to that main roster, because when that happens, I think he'll be a dominant person in that mid-card division, hopefully winning a World Champion someday as well.
And the guy Javon Evans doesn't doesn't like, one step above him is going to be number 19, Ricochet. Obviously, they had their back and forth feud on Twitter or whatever. He had his back and forth with Tony Khan as well. Pretty funny moment this year. But Javon Evans had an amazing moment in the ring. Every time he stepped in the ring, it felt like this year, with all his matches with Obafemi, his TNA matches that he had with Leon Slater, the tag team matches that he had with Leon Slater, the Iron Survivor Challenge that he won, the match with Obafemi that he got after he won the Iron Survivor Challenge. Everything from Javon was amazing this year, and I really enjoyed his work.
And then at number 18, it is going to be Kazuchika Okada, somebody who's had a very consistent year this year. Obviously had the big match at All In with Kenny Omega, and then has had the tremendous feud with Konosuke Takeshita now. And yeah, something that obviously has been having the start of the year kind of started a bit slow. Obviously the thing of kind of not trying his hardest in some of the matches that aren't as a big of a deal, but when he is in those big money matches, he brings it up a notch, and yeah, has had a very strong year.
And we're going to keep it on with that because it's Takeshita that's going to be one step above him. Obviously, they have a great story, as you mentioned, between them, where Okada keeps kind of giving him rainmakers and hitting him in the back and kind of doing shady things behind his back in general, talking behind his back. And I guess now he's even saying it to his face at this point in the feud. But yeah, we'll see a big breakdown between these two soon. I think Takeshita will come out on the top of it.
Yeah, and for number 16 is going to be the former World Heavyweight Champion and former Money in the Bank winner, and that is going to be Seth Rollins. He's had a very dominant this year, obviously winning the World Heavyweight Champion and the Money in the Bank. Then obviously have the start of the year with CM Punk. Obviously, you could make an argument that he could be higher and could be lower, but yeah, I think Seth Rollins could have a way better year, and I think the matches, again, similar to Punk, where it wasn't a lot of different opponents, so he kind of had the same matches over and over again, but when he does return, it will be a lot better, I think, and yeah, can't wait to see when he does.
At number 15, we have Rhea Bloody Ripley, one of the best women in the world. Did come a little bit low this year, but I do feel like that was kind of something that WWE wanted. They wanted to kind of calm her down a little bit, kind of let her chill a little bit, let Io get a lot of the shine, let some of these other women on the roster get a lot of the shine, and let Stephanie McCurry hold the world title and things of that nature. So Rhea Ripley played her role, did it very well, but at the same time had a triple threat match that's a match of the year, had another triple threat match that was amazing, a singles match with Io Sky that was amazing, even more Io Sky matches in general, whether they're tag team matches with her or going against her one-on-one. Every time they're together, it seems like it's amazing.
Yeah, and then for number 14, it is going to be the man of the X Division, that being Leon Slater. He has had a great year, continued to dominate the X Division since winning the belt from Moose. Has had a tremendous year, obviously becoming probably the best wrestler in TNA, but still behind Mike Santana just because Santana has that world championship over him. But he is somebody who I think when he is done with the X Division, he can win that world champion. And yeah, it will be a very dominant run and a very fun run. He's somebody who continues to be probably the most entertaining wrestler, I think, consistently in all of his matches, outside of a few people. But yeah, he's had a great year and somebody who I think is a potential world champion in any company he is in.
And basically everything you said about Leon Slater applies to our next one, because at number 13 we have Bandito, someone who really rose to stardom this year. I never even really heard of him to start this year, to be completely honest, and all of a sudden he was in Ring of Honor. He was doing great matches with Chris Jericho. He was doing great matches with Brody King as part of their tag team division, and he won the tag team titles. Unfortunately, they did lose it pretty recently, but they had an amazing run even in the singles division. He's been putting on great shows, doing stuff in Mexico, doing stuff all over the place, just putting in a lot of work in general. So really good stuff from Bandito. Hopefully in 2026 we'll see him step up and do more single stuff rather than stepping in that tag team division.
For number 12, it is going to be the best character in pro wrestling, in my opinion, that being Toni Storm, somebody who's had a great year, obviously kicking it off with Mariah May at Revolution with the Hollywood ending, and then continue to have a very dominant run, being Mercedes Moné, and then eventually losing it to Kris Statlander, but now is also the women's tag team champions. So yeah, she is somebody who has had a great year, and I think, or no, isn't the world tag team champions, I misspoke, my bad. But yeah, it has been a great year, and yeah, somebody who I think probably will have a not as good of a year in 2026, but somebody who can still be consistently at the top.
Someone who I think will have a good 2026 is number 11 in JC Jane. She is someone who won 3 world titles this year. She won the NXT world title from Stephanie McCurry. She won the TNA world title from Masha Slamovich. She loses them, but then she wins it right back. And now she's a triple champion for this year, so you can't really deny her. She's put on a lot of amazing matches, a lot of great storytelling. Her faction is dominating NXT at the moment. So JC Jane is someone who will be on the main roster very shortly. I'm pretty sure of it. And when she does, she'll be a big factor.
kicking off the top 10, it is going to be Becky Lynch, somebody who doesn't have a whole bunch of work under her belt this year, but everything she has done has been nothing short of amazing. And it's not just her saying it, it's everybody saying it. She has had a great year, kicking it off at WrestleMania, winning the tag team belts, losing it the next night, turning on Lyra, having a great feud with her, and then she had the AJ Lee return, and then they had that great match at WrestlePalooza. So yeah, she's had a very great year, and somebody who I think will probably go back to that world title picture next year, but definitely helped Lyra Valkyria, I would say, and helping making her a star, as well as elevating the Intercontinental Champion as well, and eventually losing it to Maxine Dupree, who I think put her over quite a bit as well.
And we're going on to number 9 with Dominic Mysterio, another undeniable person this year. Whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny that he's had great moments throughout this entire year, whether it was stuff with Cena, whether it was WrestleMania moment, winning the world title as one of the biggest heels, but still getting cheered. One of the loudest cheers of the entire night of, really both nights of WrestleMania, was really Dominic Mysterio getting cheered. That was one of the big moments, the sick picture of him holding the world title and the kind of sea of people in the background. And it's just an amazing sight to see of all the stuff that Dom did, becoming a double champion as well with the AAA champion. So he's done a lot of good work, very consistent throughout the entire year. He does all the house shows, he does a lot of interviews and podcasts, and he does a lot of good stuff. So I'm very happy for Dominic Mysterio and all the success that he has had this year.
For number 8, in his last year in professional wrestling, he will finish at our number 8, and that is John Cena, somebody who's obviously going to be having a very controversial year to a lot of people. It's going to be very hard to rank him because obviously he has a lot of highlights, but some of the highlights are pretty low, I will say. But in the end, obviously could be a very biased pick to put him this high, but yeah, John Cena, obviously a great year in the hindsight of things, and I think obviously next year not having him will be a lot different. We'll see who kind of fills up the spots that John Cena did take, so yeah, it'll be an interesting time to not have John Cena around, but yeah, definitely will be missed, and a great way to finish out his career.
And speaking of bias picks, we have number 7 and Will Ospreay. Obviously, he's had a very short year in terms of his matches and stuff like that, but he is Will Ospreay. He is the best wrestler in the entire world. He does stuff that no one else on this world can really do. And yeah, the few matches that he has had that were bangers, I feel like carried him up until this point. And he, like I mentioned, he's Will Ospreay. He's the best. He's not going to be far from the top 10 if he isn't in it regardless.
And for number 6, it is going to be Stephanie Vaquer, somebody who's had a very, very dominant year, kicking the year off, winning the NXT Women's World Champion, as well as having the North American Champion. Had a great matches with JC Jane, and as well as Fallon Henley, and then goes up to the main roster, has some great matches over there, has a match with Io Sky, and then eventually wins the World Heavyweight or the Women's World Champion, and then now is continuing that reign. So yeah, very dominant year from Stephanie Vaquer. I hope she keeps that up into 2026, and yeah, she's just been nothing short of amazing.
And one of the most dominant factions of the entire year is going to be number 5, Jon Moxley, and of course his Death Riders that he brought along last year. But yeah, he had an amazing year this year. To start the year off, I remember a lot of people really didn't like what he was currently doing to start the year off, but once it got to about All In, I feel like the switch kind of flipped and everyone was like, okay, no, we really don't want Moxley to go away. He needs to stay on our TV. We need him to be part of our Dynamites every single Wednesday. And yeah, he is just really that good of a character. He went on a massive winning streak to get to that point, but now he's on this crazy losing streak where everyone's kind of turning on him, and it feels like Claudio Castagnoli is kind of the new leader. Is he going to be the new faction leader and kind of kick him to the side? Is Marina Shafir going to stay on his side or not? There's a lot of questions involving Jon Moxley at the moment, and that's something that's very exciting to watch in AEW right now.
For number 4, it is going to be For number 14, it is going to be Mercedes Moné, somebody who has obviously had a very dominant year, having 13 belts at her peak, has consistently had some of the best matches over the women's division in AEW, and yeah, obviously a very dominant year. Everything has been very interesting, keeping it kind of fresh at points, introducing a lot of new opponents as well, which has been nice. So yeah, a very great year for Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, she definitely had a great year, but another AEW star who had a great one is number 3, Hangman Adam Page. Obviously, he had the huge moment at AEW All In this year, winning the world title from Jon Moxley, the person who I just mentioned. So that was a big moment, of course, with all the stuff that Moxley did to him and to everyone else as part of the roster. So yeah, just getting that comeback on him, getting that revenge on him, and being able to hold that world title for a little bit of time at least. He did end up losing it recently, but he had an amazing run, great matches throughout the entire year, and you really can't deny Hangman Adam Page.
And then for number 2, the best women's wrestler of 2025 is going to be Io Sky. Obviously, she's had a tremendous year, winning the best triple threat match I think we've seen in quite some time versus Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. And then, yeah, she had a great world title run as well. And then she had the great match at Evolution with Rhea Ripley, which we've seen Naomi cash in on. Yeah, everything's been great. Obviously, she has doing the tag team stuff now with Rhea. So, yeah, very great year from Io, somebody who I hope to see back in the world title pictures kind of soon.
Number 1, we have Kyle Fletcher, another person who just has become undeniable to start the year. Maybe not so much, and people could have, maybe looked past him and maybe kind of down him a little bit or something. But after this year that he's had this year, he is undeniably one of the best wrestlers in the entire world as well. You could tell that he's come up under Ospreay. You could tell that he's done a lot of just training and just preparing for this moment to be put in the spot that he's in, because he is going to be one of the biggest stars in AEW in the very near future.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher, when you talk about improvement, I think has done that the most this year. He's somebody who went from top mid-carder to one of the top 3 guys in the company right now. And yeah, he's somebody who, when that world champion is ready for him, he will be able to take that. Somebody who has taken advantage of every opportunity he's had. And yeah, a tremendous year for Kyle Fletcher, and somebody who I think will consistently be in these top 5s and top 10s for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and that is going to be our top 50 list. We based this off of who was our favorites, who had a great year, the success they had, the matches they had, how many matches they had, and mostly just who was our favorite. So if people are lower that you would have put higher, just forget about it. It doesn't matter. Just, take it for what it is. It's our list together as well. So some picks he might have not agreed with necessarily, and some I might not agree with necessarily as well. We'd have moved them a little bit up, a little bit down. But this is our list. We appreciate you guys for watching. And yeah, catch us in tomorrow for day 20 of our December marathon.